So apparently, Forza Horizon 5 is supposed to be coming to the PS5 in the spring of 2025. I don't know the exact release date or when that's going to be heading over to the PS5. But I looked at this and I asked myself, is this game really needed on the PS5? Because I know that the console wars, for the most part, is over because it seems like Microsoft is going to be dropping, out of the console wars. I don't think they're going to be coming out with any more Xbox hardware consoles, at least not to my knowledge. And I believe they signed a 10-year agreement or a deal with Nintendo specifically to bring like more Call of Duty games on like Nintendo consoles. So we could be expecting to see more Call of Duty games on the Switch 2 in the future. But but yeah, I feel like, Microsoft's main competitor in the console wars was Sony for the most part. And as we've seen within the past like decade or whatever, um, Microsoft hasn't really been able to keep up with Sony's PlayStation consoles in the console wars because the PS4 clearly outsold the Xbox One, and it's safe to say that the PlayStation 5 has done the same thing with the Xbox Series X. And you look at racing games, specifically like the PS5, the top racing game that I guess is supposed to be on the PlayStation 5 is Gran Turismo 7, which came out back in 2022. And when it first came out, it initially got blasted for its microtransactions. And I guess it wasn't as commercially successful as Gran Turismo Sport, which came out for the PlayStation 4. And and obviously, Gran Turismo Sport, outsold Gran Turismo 7. I forgot the exact, sales number for Sport, but I think it did at least like 12 or 13 million in terms of sales. And you look at Gran Turismo 7, Sony won't even report the numbers for that. And it makes me wonder, how did this game do? Did it flop? Is it considered a success? Because I heard that Sony made a decent amount of revenue off of it, but then like you can't find like the exact sales figures for Gran Turismo 7 like anywhere. And you look at like the best-selling PlayStation 5 video games, I don't think, Gran Turismo 7 is even like listed anywhere because like the top like 3 best-selling PS5 games are, Marvel Spider-Man 2, um, Elden Ring, and Ratchet and Clank Drift Apart. And I think Final Fantasy 16 is number 4, Astrobot is number 5. But yeah, I mean, Gran Turismo 7 has been out for more than 2 years now, and the fact that it hasn't broken a mill in terms of sales tells me that either the Gran Turismo series has gotten stale or nobody really gives a damn about it anymore. And if that is the case, it's quite possible that Forza Horizon 5 is needed on the PlayStation 5. But at the same time, it makes me wonder. I mean, are it, is Sony going to just leave the Gran Turismo 7 series alone for a while, or was that like the last major game we're going to get in quite some time? Because I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like racing games haven't been the same since the 2000s because a lot of people will go on record and tell you that the 2000s was like the golden age of racing games because that genre was very, very popular. And I feel like some of the best Gran Turismo games came out during that era. I'm talking about Gran Turismo 3 from 2001, Gran Turismo 4, which came out back in 2004, I believe. And then you had the Need for Speed games that came out during the 2000s. Everyone loved Most Wanted from the mid 2000s. I think that one came out in 2005. They'll tell you that was one of the best racing games of the 2000s decade. But but yeah, it seems like I don't know, as the teens had started or whatever, like the racing genre was still fairly popular, but as time went by, it slowly started to decline. And then it seemed like Forza was getting more popular. And by the way, I think the Forza series has been around for 20 years now because the very first Forza game came out back in 2005. So this year actually marks the 20-year anniversary of the original, Forza game that came out, and I think that's something that I don't think a lot of people has been talking about as of late or anything like that. But yeah, it's pretty sad that, Forza is most likely going to outsell Gran Turismo 7 on the PlayStation 5 because it's that popular. I don't know when we're going to get a Forza Horizon 6 because it's been a couple of years now, so it could be on the horizon at any time, no pun intended. And I'm not expecting another Forza game to come out like this year or anything. I can see like a Forza Horizon 6 coming out next year or maybe the year after that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like at this point, like the racing genre is definitely not as popular as it used to be. And keep in mind, Forza Horizon 5 is from 2021, and it's a game that's still getting mainstream attention right now because it's coming out on the PlayStation 5, which was something that, it was against. Forza Horizon 5 was competing against, Gran Turismo 7 on the Xbox Series X because it's just I mean, I don't know. I feel like with like Xbox and the Xbox consoles, like the stuff that stands out the most are like third party games. But I feel like the Forza series in general is like the closest thing that Microsoft has in relation to a game that stands out and has its own identity for the most part. And I don't know. I just feel like, a lot of like a lot of third party games we get or whatever from different publishers and different developers and all that stuff. It's something that, people don't necessarily associate with a particular game console. It'll be on a PlayStation console, an Xbox console, and it's just like, oh, it's whatever. It's not on any particular console. For the most part, Forza has been associated and affiliated with Xbox consoles, and and just knowing that, Forza was mainly a Xbox exclusive, now being on like the PlayStation 5, I think it's something that's incredible because a few years, it's something that I never would have expected. It's something that a lot of people would not have expected. People didn't expect the console wars to end like this. I feel like in relation to the console wars, people were expecting winners or at least one winner and two losers or whatever, but that's not the case. And it seems like Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft are all, cool with each other, at least for the time being. So I feel like this is exciting news. Forza Horizon 5 being on the PlayStation 5. I'm almost certain that Forza Horizon 6 is going to be on the PlayStation 5 as well because it seems like I don't know. It seems like Sony doesn't have a lot of like high profile PS5 exclusive games that's doing that great in terms of sales. And the only thing that has like surpassed like 4 million in terms of sales is Marvel Spider-Man 2, which has done 11 million in terms of sales since it came out back in 2023. So yeah, it's like anything above like 4 million in this day and age is actually considered to be impressive. And honestly, that's basically how the state of gaming is right now, where it's like you have games that can barely hit 3 mil and 4 mil, and getting like a 1.5 mil and a 2 million would actually be considered good nowadays. And honestly, I hope that's something that doesn't happen with Forza Horizon 5 when it's released on the PlayStation 5.